All right, what would you like? Just regular? All right. I'll get them small. Small one.
Small, medium, or nice.
Hey everybody. Thank you so much for getting back to your tables. I want to introduce Corey Carlson here. He's driven up from Denver. He's an systems engineer with Apple. And we invited him up today to speak to you guys about a couple really cool products. First is iBooks Author. And he's going to show you how you can create your own textbooks. And the second is iTunesU, which we currently have at the University of Wyoming, to show you how you can distribute course information to your students really easily. With that, I'll just hand the mic over to Corey.
Keep this going. Oh, it is. Should I hold it? Oh, okay. Well, good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Nothing better than filling up with meat and sugar and then sitting through 90 minutes of vendor time, right? I want to show you a few cool things. We made an announcement in January that was education specific. Apple, being a pretty large company, hasn't done that in a while, so I brought some new opportunities and some pretty refreshing things for the landscape. I'm going to show you the vision for digital textbooks and where it can go. And then I'll build one. And then when I'm done building one, I'll show you how to do that. And then when I'm done building it, I will open up iTunes Course Manager so that you can see how we can build content and then put the content in a course. So if anyone has anything else they would like to see in the next 90 minutes, now would be the time to share. Everyone's just going to comply with my agenda and not question it. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I'm Corey Carson. Actually, my distant Swedish cousin is Corey Carlson. He lives far away. I'm Corey Carson, and I live in Longmont. I've been in Colorado about 3 years. I've been with Apple a total of 12 years. And before that, I went through your agenda as you prepare teachers, and I was a high school teacher before my time at Apple. So let's dive in. On an iOS device, we can go to the iBooks app, and we can look at a collection of 3 different types of files. I've got PDFs, I've got EPUB files. Who knows what an EPUB file is in the room? Admit it if you know it. You can raise your hand high. An EPUB is basically a more flexible, more powerful version of a PDF because the students have the power to change the font of the text, change the size of the text, change the brightness of the document, and then layer on highlighting, notes, dictionary, all that good stuff. So it shows the same content. They can't alter the content, but they can customize it for their learning, and then they can layer on their own data. So that's what EPUB is, electronic publication. And then the fourth one of that is an iBooks file. iBooks, is this ringing or is it? Should I yell?
Step this way. There you go.
The third file type is an iBooks file. I see some people using non-Apple equipment in the room. Totally justified. I'm not going to hit you over the head about that. Apple chose to make the authoring tools to create digital textbooks Mac only. It is in our pursuit of global domination until it's impossible. So after I admit that, I will say our investment in education is to get the best tools at the best price we can. So we give away free authoring tools to create digital textbooks. One catch, and we hope it's a decent one at least. Use Mac. So everything I show you, I want you to know that up front. When we're building a digital textbook, we can export out to meet all learners. So we have full accessibility features built in, and I can build a textbook that a blind or hearing impaired student could absolutely navigate and use. Also, the same book that we build, we can export that out and just create an EPUB, which then, guess what, goes to all other platforms, whether it be Android, Windows Mobile, Windows Desktop, and Mac. And then also we can export out to PDF. So you'll see the difference, and you'll see that we get a lot of great interactivity and a lot of immersive, engaging content. And then some of that does go away when you go to the PDF. You go back to that old flat file style, which works very well, but you'll see the difference. So, if you have an iPad, or if you've ever looked at iTunesU, basically what I've done, this is my iBooks shelf, and I've got non-education content, but I've also got other content. This is a free textbook that's available online right now. It's called Life on Earth. E.O. Wilson's a famous biologist. He teaches at Harvard. And as a first pilot, just to show what's possible, he wrote Life on Earth. So let me show you this book first. Sorry you can't hear the details. I'll cover it. I couldn't get the sound, but that's what's on the small speaker. So when you first open the book, that's better. When you first open the book, you can choose to greet them with a video. That could be yours, or it could be any other content you choose. And this is the look at a chapter. So I can take my finger and swipe across this upper section and browse between the chapters. And then also within any given chapter down below is all the pages of that chapter. So I can just browse through here. And this is all built for me. All I do is drag and drop the content in. This stuff gets generated for me. I touch on a page, it opens. I touch on an object, I get it full screen, I can zoom in. So this is all responding to me zooming in with a pinch. Then I pinch out to zoom out. I browse to the page. Here's another interactive element. Our paper textbooks do not do this. Did a web nerd get involved to make such nice interactive content? Yes. But I'll show you that you don't necessarily need that. Here's another interactive image. This is as simple as taking a PowerPoint file and then having these just be clickable links to show a new image as we touch back and forth. 3D object. I can maneuver, manipulate, look at this. I'm doing that. So I touch the object to get a full screen view, and now I can look at this. Videos. More videos. Here's a nice one. I would have loved to have had something as simple as this. Of these 3 insects, show me the abdomen. Show me the wings. I'm touching this. So I'm touching the objects here. And then it's showing me that. Again, that's as simple as having someone who's good with graphics. Could be you, could be someone else. And it's, I touch this, it does this. I'll pinch that down. Another video, I can look at it embedded in the text, or I can hit this little corner arrow here and look at that full screen. I have interactive images. So this is a single image with hotspots that will zoom in and show what I'm looking at. So I touch that, I get a description. I tap anywhere else, it zooms back out. I tap on something else, I get that description. Not hard to build, I promise you. Pardon? Audio, not right now. However, if anyone can use the accessibility features of an iPad or an iPod. So in this case, we're dealing with iPad only, but if you have voiceover turned on, it doesn't matter if you're visually impaired or not, you could turn on that feature and then everything you touch would be read back. And it doesn't matter what app you're in, it doesn't matter what you're reading, what you're doing. So I can look through my views. Another chapter. Here's the nice thing. I take my finger and I just drag over specific text and I get a highlight. I can tap on that highlight. I can change the color. I can remove it, or I can add another. So now you can see this little note icon. It's going to show me that I have typed something and I have a note there. All right, so let me just pull. Notice that I have a limitation. This is to protect the intellectual property of the author. I do not have a copy option out. Highlight, note, search.
So the student should see that highlighted note.
Yep. This is the content. This is the personal content that they layer on top of the textbook. So the textbook's the same as you distribute it, and it always will be, unless you update it. But they get to layer this on. Notice that I can touch on any word and hold it. It'll highlight a word, and I can just tap define, and I get that. So you've got 2 levels. There is a built-in dictionary on the device, in the Mac as well. So you get this, but then also you can go on out to a web or Wikipedia search. The question was for any word in the book, and yes. So I can tap on the book, because I want to look in here a little bit. I can now go to notes. It's going to show me everywhere that I've highlighted and the notes that I took. So this is just a quick view of what I've highlighted and I've carved out, and it automatically will generate study cards. So I can just tap study cards, everything I've highlighted, and then I generated my own note which could be the answer or another reference. I've got that real quick, and I can just flip it over, see what I typed. That's all I typed. And I flip it back. I go to the next one. I go to the next one. So the personal data that a student wants to have in order to learn the material, this is the stuff that gets layered on. The nice thing about it from the consumer aspect, how many of you use an iPhone, an iPod, or an iPad? Okay, so if you've seen the iCloud features, that's a consumer feature. At the same time, if a student walks in and has this device, whether they bought it themselves or it's something from the institution, they can log in with their iCloud account, and it will do automatic backups about once a day. And it's usually at night when they're charging it and the device is sleeping. It'll just back it up to iCloud. This stuff gets backed up. So the highlights, the notes, everything that they layer on top, in addition to their Angry Bird scores, in addition to everything else, that's all part of an iCloud backup. So when they lose a device, break a device, upgrade a device, they can quickly and easily restore that. Get the gist? Want to build one? Okay. What?
Not on science.
Not on science? Well, here's the deal. I have my own demo content, and I've done it a few times. And then this morning, I get home from a bike ride, and I realized that a coworker had drummed up all of this new content, and it was only about 38 times cooler than my content. And so I did a quick dry run to make sure I could do it. So you'll have to pardon me if I do pause or stumble a time or two. I should be okay getting through this, but I'm going to build one with this content because it's a lot better. So to make sure we know what this is.
So, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But for instance, you have to have a line.
You do. Yeah. The question was, do you have to have Mac OS X Lion, which is version 10.7, the operating system for the Mac, to get this free tool? Yes. Yeah, it's written specifically for Lion. All right. So free app. You'll see the templates because I'm going to show you that. You get to fully customize it, add your own content. Interactive elements. When you want to preview it on an iPad to look at it before you distribute it, you can absolutely do that testing. We just connect it to a cable, hit preview, and you'll see that. Then you get the option to publish it to the iBook store. Rat hole warning right here, because this could eat up the time. And I won't let it, but I'll at least cover this. I get asked all the time, I'm a professor, I want to publish it to the iBook store, what are the limitations? There's only one. If you choose to publish it to the iBook store for a fee, you can only sell it through the iBook store. And you keep 70% and there's nothing else. That's just it. You keep 70% of the revenue because we keep 30% because we spend about $38 billion on data centers to drive this online store. I'm exaggerating. It's been a lot. But that's the only limitation. If you want to give this away for free, you can do so in the iBook store, and then you can turn around and make a PDF version and put that on the Amazon Kindle store, put it internally on a server, put it in Blackboard. What do you use, Blackboard? What do you use? Pearson? Oh, Pearson what? Okay. Whatever the learning management system is, you can publish it there. You can publish it in iTunesU. If you're giving it away, do whatever you want. Put it wherever you want. Make it available. If you sell it, only here, you're not allowed to sell any given book for more than $14.99. Here's the flip side. The big publishers, when we negotiated terms, they have to follow the same rules. They cannot sell their big, expensive, fancy textbooks for more than $14.99. In K-12, that's still a big challenge because it can only be redeemed to the kid. And then they own that copy of the book for life. In high ed, you tell them what to buy and they have to go buy it, right? So in high ed, much fewer hurdles around that. The benefit is they got a book for life. It can be updated, and it's never going to cost more than $14.99. So that's nice. Templates, showing you stuff already. When you first launch today, there's 6 templates. I'm guessing that this will increase, but today there's 6. I tried to first write a book and have it follow my own rules of design and layout. I quickly learned that was wasting a significant amount of time. So if you follow the templates, it does a lot of magic for you in terms of building the glossary, building the table of contents. Inserting widgets is as simple as this. If you want to insert a video, a slide presentation, a 3D object, interactive image, you name it. And review questions as well. So we'll get to this. Interactive images, you can swipe through individual, or you can go full screen and swipe through those. Review questions, this one's usually the most popular one. You can do this with just A, B, C, D. Pick one, and you get the feedback on which one is right. You can also do it with images. When it's time to preview, you just hit the preview button, plug in your device. It'll load up and put the little proof tag on there. You need to see it. So it's in the App Store, it's free, and it requires line. Any questions on that? Yes, sir?
Can you use InDesign to create a basic one and import that into iBooks Author, or is there still a problem with that?
It depends on what you're doing. Are you talking about the full layout?
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not. Creative Suite 5.5 introduced the ability to create and export EPUB files. So if that is the medium that works best, you can absolutely stick with that and run with it.
But I can't put it into, I can't do that.
You can't drag it in. I will take a Word file and drag it in.
Yeah.
So I will show you that you have existing work, possibly in Word or Pages or whatever, and we can just drag those in. So I want a new document. Get this laid out so it's friendly here. I will tell you that when you have a nice large display and aren't restricted, and this is just a typical projector restriction, I have a lot less screen real estate to work with, so you'll see me moving stuff around that you won't have to. You get to spread your stuff out, put your templates and choosers around as you see fit. But the first thing it does is it builds a lot of things already. We have a book title, and what I did is I imported a bunch of photos and content ahead of time, and instead of doing image editing, I get the beauty of a placeholder. So this is something that's so simple and small that it's worth pointing out. When I was teaching, I spent way too much time trying to learn something as cumbersome as Photoshop. Why do we need a $500 app to crop? But that's what, it was like 98, that's what I did. And so I was a full-blown image editor to get stuff laid out right. But now we deal with placeholders. And it says, I don't care what you drag in, I'm going to have it conform to this layout. And so it does it. So I can drag in whatever I want, and it's just going to replace that. And then if I don't like it, I can double-click, and I can actually see that the image goes outside of those boundaries. So if I want to zoom it in, I can do whatever. So placeholder, that's key. Whoever didn't want science, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do for you. So I can build a title. That's my cover. And then there's some things that came in here already, just some default chapters with some sample text and sample images. When I highlight, I can highlight by the page or by the section, but I get the yellow border around that, so I know exactly what I'm dealing with. And I just delete that. Don't need it. Don't want it. And what I've got here is a Word doc that looks like this. So I do have, of course you want to update. So I do have text that is red and a little bit larger. Italicized, bold, somewhere on here. I passed it. Did I pass it? There it is. So this is what my document looks like in Word. Doesn't matter if it's Mac or PC. And I'll just drag that in. What do you want to do? Is this the preface? Is this a chapter? I'll leave it. I can have it follow any template layout I choose, but I'm going to stick with chapter. Once it does that, it's going to throw me some warnings. The iPad font, this was substituted for this because I couldn't find it. We can ignore that, clear those out. We're good with that. And now you'll notice that here's my text. And we left the checkbox checked to preserve the styles. What is red, what is bold, what is italic, etc., etc. So you can see that it just threw all that in. Let me get this back down. This is pretty helpful. Let's update these images. And again, what I don't like, I can see how far that image reaches. If I want to kiss the sun at the top of that, I'll do it, click away, and it's done. If I don't look up and you have a question, just start shouting. That's acceptable. Alright, let's drag an image in. From the desktop, from your Finder, you name it, we can just drag stuff in. There's a couple little gotchas I'll show you here. Dragging and dropping an image in and putting it in the book, that's nice. I already did some ugly stuff though. So I can do this as simply as visiting the inspector, and I'll look at the image properties, let's say of this guy here, and I'll take away the stroke, and it notices to do the right. And then on the trackpad, since this is Mac only, here's one of the advantages. On the trackpad, it actually understands what a multi-touch gesture is. So I can actually take 2 fingers and rotate it, or I can grab a corner. So I'm just going to hover over this and I'm going to rotate, and it's going to respond to that. And I'll put that in the middle. And I like the way that that looks. Another thing we can check. Some digital iPads like this, and some like this. We want to make sure we're ready for both views. So right up here, we can always check how it looks in the orientation. So this is our book so far, when it's in portrait. And this is what it's like in landscape. Thank you for that lead. I didn't get the treat. This will probably be remedied, but for now, I can do this. I can look at the properties of the tree, and I can say that I want a title, even though I don't, and I can just take this title and delete it. And what I'll do is change this layout back to banner so I get the wrap back. And sure enough, when you pretend it has a title, even if it doesn't, now you're going to get that view of both areas. Alright, so, next page. Get this lined up at the bottom. Fake the title. And then I can get rid of that stroke. And the word wrap works. Simple enough? Okay. I don't know. Did I have too many clicks? So we can drag and drop images right in from whatever source. Let's do an image gallery. Image galleries look like this. I determine where I want it on the page and exactly how I want it laid out. So I can shrink it down. However I try to have this fit, it will listen. And now I can say, great. And I've got 2 right here. 1, 2. Drag them in, and notice as soon as I did that, it's going to put a second dot. I could go to probably 12 here. That allows them to swipe with their finger in between within the window, or pinch out, blow it up, get full size, and I can put descriptors over all of this. So, first of all, this photo was taken as if my mom was taking a Christmas picture, so let's not cut the head off. Poor Grigor. My poor mom, she can't even defend herself. Make fun of her.
And this is using what you say? Image what?
Image gallery. So it's an image gallery widget. Of all the widgets I can choose, I chose this one. I already forgot something. On any given object, I can highlight any object, and right here is where I get this to meet all learners. So an accessibility description is what VoiceOver will read to the student when they touch that object. So you don't have to have the text in there. I'll say tree with exposed roots. That means that as they navigate through the book, the text will go and then it'll get to a spot, or if they touch it, it'll just say, picture of tree with exposed roots. You get to define that. Any questions so far? Yes. Here's an example of another of a keynote presentation. If you use PowerPoint on a Mac, or if you use PowerPoint on Windows, it is as simple as taking that same exact file, opening it in Keynote one time, and hitting save. It'll update and be ready. So if I wanted to show you this presentation, I would do so, and then these are basically just clickable links. Instead of having, view slide 1 through 18 in this order, that doesn't work actually in this presentation. These are just links to show different highlighted section of the map, different photo, and you can see all this stuff change. So I can take, I'm going to insert this widget here. And it's as simple as just dragging in the file. As soon as you drag in the presentation file, it takes 5 to 10 seconds, depending on the size of the presentation. And it's done. Now that's ready. Next one. Media. See these 3 down here? These are practice sessions. And I've got it highlighted. Nice. Here we go. So I'll switch this to video. And I just want to record me reminding the students of what's due when, and just a quick update with a link. Hi students, I hope you're having a great semester. Remember that quiz number 3 will be on the week of July 25, so be ready for that. If you have any questions, you know you can always email me. So I can take that video, drag it out to the desktop, quit that. Here's something that should be super friendly. Let's just drag our movie in. Oh, not good. I'm sure this will be addressed. For the time being, what we do is open this up in QuickTime, share it to iTunes, and we get a properly formatted video. So it doesn't matter if you have a Windows Media file, doesn't matter what the file format is. You can bring it into QuickTime, share it to iTunes. It'll get all the codec and all the stuff that you don't need to care about or deal with. It'll get it all set correctly. Now if I switch to movies, you don't want a picture of my dog. Let's launch iTunes to make sure it's there. There it is. There we go. There's my video. So I can do whatever I want here. And let's say that if I had a video that I had a lot of detail in, and I didn't want them to miss that detail by just touching the video and watching it embedded in the text, that's as simple as highlighting the movie here and then checking this box so it's full screen only. So as soon as they touch it, it'll blow out full size and take over the whole device. Next one. Pardon me for going fast. We have a lot to cover. Inserting an interactive image. This one, be patient with me. If I make sure it hadn't hurt, fear not. There's tutorials and stuff on our website that walk you through the whole thing. It's not, shouldn't be that intimidating. It just takes a little bit of practice. What I did ahead of time is I faked creating a book with all these images in iPhoto. While you have a Mac, you already have iPhoto. And so there's a map feature that you can use in the book. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to talk about where we are, but also where the subject is. So this is a reserve called Nova Sofala. It's down in Mozambique. And here we are in Laramie. So I just made this book as if I was going to print it and order it, and then I just said, no, just export to PDF page 4, and then save that. So I get to leverage that now, and I can drag in the map I made by dropping that in here, and now it's ready to go. So bear with me as this gets a little tedious. But over here in our inspector, it says, I know you're trying to do interaction. And you can do anything with this. The default view looks like this. And then standard, just from the start, it's going to give you 2 new views, both of which are incorrect and irrelevant. So I want to look at view 1, and I know that that means we're dealing with this one. So I'm just going to drag this up. See why you have to bear with me? Get this over to the right spot. And I can change this size. And I want to set view. I like that view. So we've got default view, And we've got view 1. Okay, so now let's work on view 2. Boy, is that one messed up. So I'm going to pull this over. And notice it updated the size of the other box of text. We'll put in basically a new species of ant was discovered while writing this book. Set view. Default view. View 1, view 2. I like it. All right. Last one. I want to make a new multiple choice review question, and I now get to do the simple again. Which of these represents it? Country. So when I check the box, the rest of it's done for me. So they're actually going to be able to highlight any one of these, tap, check, answer, and they'll just get a red X or a green check. And it's done. So you can do this with text only, ABCD, and you can build multiple review questions within this single box, or you can do multiple boxes and break it down however you want. It's completely up to you. So I'll leave that one alone. And make sure there was nothing else. And we'll take a look at this. I do have one more. Research data. If I could just get it to show me where it is. Here is the spreadsheet. This is a graph that simply explains from 2000 to 2010 how many new species were discovered. So this is relevant and accurate data from a site called State of the Species. Arizona State hosts it. And this just shows a simple chart. We can just take the chart and copy it, and then let's just paste that here in the book. When we do that, it's embedded in the text. So we actually want to say that this is floating, and we want the text to wrap and all that good stuff. So let me scroll down here. And notice now that it's linked over here, it knows exactly what the source is. So I bet you know where I'm going next. New data. Chart gets updated. Refresh. So if you have existing spreadsheets, you have existing charts, it doesn't matter if they're built in Excel or numbers. They could just be opened up in numbers. And again, just like the keynote transition, open it up in numbers, hit save, and it's ready to go. You don't have to go back and re-import the data, especially when you get it laid out just like you want, get it titled appropriately, etc. I'm going to go ahead and look a little further in here because I do want to note that this is a diagram. And let's pull it over here. And I'll say new species data. And I'll go ahead and do a caption because this is relevant too. Let's scoop this up. And I'll just put in here data from state of the species at, and this is, here it is. So I'll just copy and paste that. Notice when I click away here, it recognizes that it's a hyperlink, so probably what you're used to already with email or Word, how it behaves. It recognizes that that's a link that can be tapped on and taken right there. The last thing that you can do is not just link out, but link within the book. So I'm just going to put a text box over here because there's a specific message I want to get to the kids. I want it centered and I want it left alone. So I'm going to expand this out. And notice that it identified my email address already. And if they tap on that, they don't even leave the book. A window pops up with an email to me already composed. They just type in it and hit send. And then they stay right there in the book. But this one is going to be misleading. For a complete summary of my grading policy, even though I didn't include it, would be on the video. And now, since I've got all these interactive components built in, I can just highlight text, enable it as a link, and jump to the movie that I inserted. Now it's done. This book could be a lot prettier. But let's run with it and see what we get. So I will put this in. And I want to preview. So it's gonna build it, and then over here, I'll just show you what happens on here. Once it copies it over, it's gonna show up on my shelf. And open right up. So let me switch my video over here so you can see what we're dealing with. So, section 1, I changed the image, but not the title. That's reflected. Section 2, got all of our data in there. So let's look at them. If I touch that, it shows me a full-size version. If I have VoiceOver turned on, I can hold on that object and it will read to me what I typed in accessibility options. If I change the orientation, my tree stays, and all the other galleries and whatnot stay as well. Very bottom in the middle. Hard to see. And when you're in this, that's a good question. Okay, see in the very lower right, it says page 6. But notice that it's all one big page. But it's showing me, notice it changed? See that? Glad you asked that. I tried to. So let's take a look at what we got. I'll blow up our presentation. Those links all work. I just tapped it and it automatically went to full screen. That's what we want. I can tap the link. It jumps straight to that website. Go back into iBooks. And I have a quiz. If I tap email, it's going to compose and start that message right there. So I don't even leave the book. I'll delete that. And if I touch video, it will jump right back to the page where the video is. So those are hyperlinked within the book. Beyond that, here I've got my image gallery, and I can swipe between right within. I can also blow that up. And my descriptors change. And I'm done. Now I can invest, 8 to 12 hours fine-tuning it and nitpicking it and cutting hairs, of course. But in a nutshell, I'm in and out pretty quick. It's nice to have a bunch of sample material from people smarter than me prepared ahead of time. That's always really helpful. What questions do you have on that? Yes?
I just have a question about the quiz feature and whether there would be any sleeker way to get feedback from what your students have done, like on a quiz, rather than just, would the best way to do that happen with like the email feature, maybe email you their answers to those questions, or is there any other way to get that feedback?
Great question. No easy answer right now. Let's take a look. Yes, they could email. So you could put text. So you could put text right in here. And it would say, tap here to email me what your response is. Because there is no way for this to all get concatenated and back to you today. It's just not there. We allow a full HTML widget, which gives the programmer anything they want to do. So there's people already writing plugins that will submit and send it in. Beyond that, something like poll everywhere, something like that would probably be best to have a quiz, but then just right in here have a link and say, when you have an answer, touch here. It takes them to Safari, takes them straight to the option, and they can submit their answer, which you will actually collect, either dynamically on the fly or later. So nothing easy, but there's a couple ways to get around it right now.
How does it print?
How does it print?
Perfectly well?
Not well. When you spit out to PDF, it'll print exactly what you see once all the interactive elements are gone. So you'll get to see this default view, nothing else. You'll get to see this with or without the answer, depending on what they tap or what you tap as you build it, as you're showing it. And you won't see the other questions that you may have built into this one pane. You have multiple ones. Not one thread of effort was put into considering print, good, bad, or indifferent. Yes, question?
How would you cite this book?
How would you like to cite this book?
That's what APA format. How would you cite it?
You're outside of my expertise area already.
An author, it's a title, it's got an publication date.
It's not a publication date, but how do you identify the publisher? Is it just
Well,
news?
when you can really do this in any of the formats that are available. It's just a matter of if you've already got it built somewhere else, and if it's hyperlinked or not, you can still just copy and paste this stuff in. So format-wise, there's nothing in there that says it's just going to fall right into this format when you give me raw text. Nothing for that today. I do want to show this. There is a glossary. It is counting on you to build the glossary. Well, my immediate reaction is to gouge my own eyes out. That's how I feel when they ask me to build the glossary. Because it's 2012. I don't think I should have to do that. What we can do is use some nice keyboard shortcuts that'll get us there pretty quick. So I can do a Command F for find. Let's find biology. And let's go to the next one. Well, it highlighted that one right behind us. I don't care about the one in the title. Let's look at the next one. See it down there? It highlighted it. So, well, that's pretty good. I'm going to add this term. I still have this highlighted. So before I go looking for another word, and this is something you wouldn't know, but it's easy to learn and easy to do. I'll do a keyboard shortcut. Command G takes you to the next instance of the same word. And I can just say, hey, add link. Next, add link. See where I'm clicking up here? Next, add link. Back to the beginning. Let's do I think I actually want plural. Organisms, right there. Add the term. Command G, find the next one, link it. Command G, that must be it, because now it jumped right back here to our glossary. So, now it's wanting us to define. Look at the stuff we put in here. Well, I'll do another Mac shortcut, because the dictionary is built in here. I can highlight a word and use 3 fingers to double tap on a word. I get the definition. So why not copy that and paste it? And now it shows me everywhere, because I said so, where all instances of that word are. So again, highlight it, double tap on that guy, copy, paste. And then I have multiple instances down here. So I could go through and do that quite a bit and get pretty far in a short period of time, just using the quick few commands. Any other questions?
So when books published, does it have a URL or
I'm sorry?
the site to the book that is published?
Does it have a URL directly to the book? You can take the file from here, put it wherever you want, and then just copy and paste the link. If you put it in the store, you can link to that, and even if it's embedded in an iTunesU course, you can link to that. Question?
But is that linking to the IBF file that's created from iBooks Author, or can we export from iBooks Author into PDF, for example, which could then be converted into an EPUB, which could then actually be cited somewhere in a more proper citational manner?
Sure. However you want to do it.
So it will export.
You can export. Yeah, you can export straight out of here to multiple formats. Put all the formats in one place. So if you lead students to one site, click here for PDF version, click here for EPUB, click here for iBooks.
Like the institutional repository that's being built.
Okay. Sure.
You can export the name.
No. Go ahead and ask me what that is.
Oh.
I don't know, is the answer. I know that those are the 3 formats it spits out. So you get the 3 layers. PDF, flat file, read it, see it, no interactivity, no layering. EPUB, customize the format, the font, the size, color, layer on highlights, layer on notes. iBooks, same thing as EPUB, but more interactive elements. You're shaking your head. Disagree?
Yeah, disagree.
Okay.
They broke it.
What broke?
EPUB. Apple broke it when they defined the iBook format, unfortunately.
But if you export the
Prior
EPUB,
to that, there was a direct exchange, unfortunately.
well, EPUB is still not a baked standard. We're out in front doing anything with it. So
I want them to be the same. I'm not. I'm
Right,
arguing
yeah.
against it. It's
But I
very
agree.
frustrating.
I
because
agree with what you're saying.
the level of
Certain things
control.
broke. Certain things broke because no one's agreed on exactly how it's going to be.
So we
then
need more
that's
templates. We need more
that's the
templates and
important
flexibility in design in ebook.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Those of
That's
us that
fair.
had to work with Photoshop and InDesign and PageMaker want something
That's fair.
similar.
That's a fair statement. This
Yeah.
is a 1.0 product.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely 1.0.
Is it like EPUB 2?
EPUB as a standard is on version 3 right now.
Yeah.
This is EPUB 3?
Yeah. Ask me what that means, and I'll say, well, it depends on who you ask. And then what do vendors have to adhere to? And that's still too loose. PDF, locked and loaded. It's been for a long time. No one's messing with it. Adobe still gets their money. No one seems to throw a fit. That's fine. EPUB is still a little bit of new and unestablished, but it's getting all the attention these days. That's for sure.
Love it. So when is the 1-week course on the evenings with our coursework?
Right now.
Christy, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
You know, we use so much of our own content and so little chapters of the book. I would buy a $150 book, use 2 chapters.
Yes. Make it happen.
I would love to
Make it
learn.
pack. Make it pack. I love it. Second part. Much, not second half. Second part. Second part is short and sweet and doesn't go down into the weeds near as much. If I gave you a 5-minute break, it would turn into a 15-minute break, and then that'd be the end of it. I'm smart enough to know that. I'm not very smart, but I'm smart enough to know that. This is Swift. This is Swift. I want to make sure you understand what iTunesU is before we're done. I heard some lively discussion up front here in the middle, and there were some really good questions. Chose to keep my notes out of it for them, for the time being. In a nutshell, this is what it is. It's 100% free. We host content. UW has signed up for an agreement with iTunesU, which allows a site manager to say, here's what our site's going to look like when people visit this in iTunes on a Mac or a Windows machine, or if they visit within the iTunesU app, which is on a mobile Apple device. So it's 100% free. We do have over 1,000 content contributors. So anywhere, I mean, we have lots of stuff from across the pond, and a lot of stuff stateside. To date, this actually has gone up to about 750. This is how many downloads it's actually occurred from iTunesU in the form of PDF, EPUB, iBooks, audio, video. It's typically the 5. But in terms of assets downloaded from an iTunesU course, we're getting into some pretty big numbers. And then this is the number of devices that we've actually sold that can run iTunesU. This is not even counting the Macs and the PCs that can get to your content using the iTunes application. So there's a pretty big target out there. And everyone always asks, what do I need? If you are creating iTunes courses for iTunesU, you just need a browser. Doesn't have to be Safari. You just need a browser. If you want to see the courses as they're intended to be laid out, it would be an Apple mobile device, an iPod Touch, an iPhone, or an iPad. But beyond that, you can also just have a computer running a Mac or a Windows PC. And they can still get to your course content within iTunes. So this is what it is. You are creating courses of content, video, documents, apps, and books. You can post a syllabus. You can post assignments. You get to send posts and updates as you see fit. And then students, when using an Apple mobile device, there's an extra layer of frosting there because, again, they get to take notes. They get to highlight. Again, all of that is layered, and all of that is part of an iCloud-based backup. And this is what it looks like. So it looks like iBooks, but it's got a more mahogany look. So whoever our graphic arts nerds are at Apple, they chose to go with a different wood. And so it's just a little bit different look. So again, we can access it via iTunes as well. This is what it looks like when a student looks at a course created by you or I. They get to see an overview of the course. And then they have tabs down the side: info, posts, notes, materials. They can look at the outline. This is something that you can hand type up right in the browser. If you hit tab, it'll just jump over and keep things nice in outline form. You can also take existing text that you've already typed up, copy and paste it into the browser, and then it's reflected here. When you make posts, they can be text or they can link to content. I'll show you how to do this. So this is a video that was uploaded describing what is an ecosystem. They touch that, they can stream it and watch it automatically on the fly, as long as they're online, or they can just tap to download it for offline viewing as well. So there's both. Notice here, this is a view of the post that you have sent to the students. They have the option, just for their own personal organization, to just tap and check off the things as they do them. Watch a video, read a document, go do this, go do that. They can just check those off. If they choose not to use it, that's outside of your control. You can also post a book and it'll just jump straight to the book. Highlights, yes, we've seen it. And then the notes that they create, again, you've already seen this from the iBook side. Same with iTunesU. This is all layered on. They can always also get a nice simple view of all of the materials you posted. So they can tap only audio and see only audio recordings, only video recordings, only apps that you recommend, etc., etc. And let me back up. So this is what the shelf looks like. And then if they tap on catalog in the upper left, they actually go to the store. So this is where they would browse to the University of Wyoming iTunesU course site. And they would see Economics 101, Classroom Management, you name it, all the way down the list. And then they can just subscribe to the course. They're also going to see all the other content that's available for free from around the world that universities choose to post. If I was still teaching, I would use this supplemental content all day long. Because who is to say that if I'm trying to teach an economic principle, that I can do it better than some, clown at Yale? He's already done it. He may be world famous and has all this research, and he's a great presenter. I can actually link straight to his video of a specific course and have it start at 3 minutes, 58 seconds. And say, watch the 2 minutes of duration from the part I give you. That's it. Because class isn't for us to sit around and look at this stuff. It's to discuss what they should have done ahead of time. I don't tell you how to teach. I'm just saying, supplemental content. It's all out there. They've given up the rights and they've chosen to share, so you can leverage this. So, a couple examples. The Open University. This is UK. This is in the UK. They have lots and lots of assets. At Stanford, they are recording video and or audio about 80% of all lectures and posting them to iTunesU. So if you want to take a course from Stanford, you can. You're not going to spend $35 grand a year, but you're not getting a piece of paper. All the way down to community colleges, very, very small community colleges. Common Sense Media. If you're training teachers, I think this one's kind of nice. This is a nonprofit organization that was allowed to have an iTunesU contract. A couple of their courses. Ending Cyberbullying. Perspectives on Cyberbullying. sexting and relationships, college-bound, copyrights, and copy-wrongs. I like that. There's a lot of relevant topics to kids in there. You've already done this. You've already done that. Let's jump to the good stuff. So, you have, I don't know who it is. I need to find out. At University of Wyoming, there is an iTunesU site manager. Does anyone in the room know who that is? You don't have to be outed at that point. Oh, you really? He raised his hand. An iTunes, there's two roles. You have an iTunesU site manager, manages how the site is presented within iTunesU and the iTunes app on the computer. The iTunesU site manager determines who gets to create courses. It could be a 50-step process where they check your background and make sure you're not a harmful person. It could be as simple as, hey, I need to make courses, and he says, what's your Apple ID? And you give it to him, and then that now allows you to get an invite email, and you're allowed to log in on this site. So now I'm going to log in to Course Manager. I'm not allowed as the site manager, but I am allowed to create courses. So I'll do that now. Helps to type the right password, and I did it. So, I work with IT all the time. So I have, that's a big part of my job. So I have IT-related courses. But this is my dashboard. This is me. I filled in my instructor profile already, and I've made 2 courses. And at any given time, I can log back in here and see that I've got X number of students. These are students that have subscribed to your course. They've taken a device, or they're on a computer, and they clicked, get this course. When they click that button on the device or on the computer, your number goes up. From that point forward, I can go into an existing course, and I can fill in this information. Instructor, I typed up an outline. I have posted 0 posts. But I have either uploaded materials or linked to them. Website link, website link, website link. Top one, iBooks file. That is as simple as clicking down here and adding material. How am I doing on time? I got 15 minutes-ish? Okay. All right. So I can add material and say I want to add from my computer because I'm going to upload a PDF file. I can enter an iTunes store link. This is my magic trick right here. I go to a specific lecture in iTunes, right-click on the video, copy link. Paste it here. Oh, I see it's a video. Do you want it to start at 000, or do you want to start at 3rd minute and 42nd second? You get that choice. A link to a website or link to materials that I've already uploaded. Once I do that,
Course manager is different from the site manager, but what's the hierarchy?
Site manager takes Apple IDs from people in the room and says, you know, yes you can or no you cannot create courses, and then enters you in under the University of Wyoming site manager. That allows you to simply log in and create courses right now. There's one site manager. There's as many course managers as you want. Did that answer it?
Yes.
Okay. If I post, I can add a post. This is going to go in external drive. Please read the tech document I posted last week. Seriously, do it. Assignment on, and then I can attach a material. Again, any of these things, or I can just type a message. This is always dangerous to do in a demo because you never know. I've seen up to 10-second delays. This is connected to cell towers. This is hitting the website of servers that are somewhere. I hit post. Notification. See it? Just popped up. iTunesU, Mac 100, that's the name of the course. Please read the tech document I posted last week. I got a push notify. Any student that enrolls into your course with an iOS device gets that benefit. Everyone else has to just check whenever they can. We're not being mean, we're not cutting them out, it's just something that we've integrated fully. So, when you post something, it's that quick. Let's make a new course. Create a new course. I can type the department, and I can also choose from here whatever I want. There are subcategories within each. Not necessary. Choose a level. Kindergartners can handle this, but we'll make the kids feel special. But it's an undergraduate course. Adding an image. Of course you did. Let me try that first. Level. English. Description. History of the bike. Notes. When you create a course, question. Well, yeah, mine's locked in because with my demo account, I'm locked into this. It'll put that in already. When you're put in by a site manager as someone who can create courses, that's done. Institution's done. Then you still have the freedom because the site manager says what the categories, what the departments are. If you want something added, they can add it. Key part right here. What is the type of course? An in-session course has a definitive start and stop. So that would be for most of you. You can also just have a bunch of extracurricular stuff thrown out there if you want, and it's self-paced. So most everything in iTunesU is self-paced because, to give you an example, there's a K-12 school in Scotland. They got iTunesU going. Within 2 weeks, he had more students than he had in the 140-year history of the school combined. Because that many people were subscribing to his courses from everywhere, every corner of the planet. And so he was like, well, I was doing in-session courses. The kids know the deadline. I'm going to make this self-paced because I have all these people signing in to see our coursework and they don't want all the notifications popping up that this is due and that's due. No problem. But you get to choose. And then based on your content, and if you don't know what these terms are, attribution means, hey, you're letting everyone tweak it, modify it, repost it, benefit from it, financially, whatever. So we can take, here we go, non-commercial, share alike. We got this built the way we want. Oops. Oh, goodness. What else do we want? Sorry. Course is built. Share course. That's what I copied. Don't have people try to write that down. Those are obscure for a reason, so that people just can't discover and fall across your course. If you want some type of privacy in your course, only via obscurity. These aren't protected by university logins, but you can take this and then convert it with the URL shortener. You can do whatever you want, or just paste the link right into whatever it is you said you use for a course management. Or for a learning management system, sorry. That's it.
So we could create children's storybooks using this or not?
Sure. You could create children's storybooks in iBooks Author or Caliber or Creative Suite or whatever you want. And then whatever you use for the output, then you could post that material right up there. You really want to get them to click on the link to... My phone's ringing, and it's hooked to my phone. Sorry about that. Alright, you really just want to get them to click on the link to get the course one time. Then you got them. Because, and not in a bad way. Because then from then on, it's just like a magazine subscription. They get you for that $8. 1 year for only $8. And it's going to keep coming as you create stuff and publish stuff. They don't have to come back to find your material anymore. It's going to automatically come to them. From the user's perspective, let's do this. And I'll copy that out. And, oh man, is it scary to open up your email in front of a crowd. What am I doing? And, biking course. Know what I did? Biking course. Let's send that. All right. So here's my little test push notification. Oh, great. Now you're going to know my secret password again. All right, so let's take a look here. Touch the link. It's going to go right over to the course. Are you sure you want to do this? I do. I want to subscribe to the course. So you get to see all of the courses I'm subscribed to. Most are appropriate. Here's one I would definitely recommend you go to sooner than later. And that's this guy. Cedars School of Excellence. That's the school in Scotland I was talking about, where he has more students already online than he's ever had in the history of the institution. He's got a course on creating iTunesU courses. He's got another course on iPad 101. He's got another course on deploying iBooks. He's got all kinds of good stuff. Pardon? The number? The number is a badge notification showing me, oh, here's the other one, using Twitter and Flipboard, same institution. The badge is showing me how many assignments or posts I have not checked off. So those are unfinished items. So it's a nice look. And just like in email, I get a blue dot saying that is unread. I got tons of work to do. That's what I love about already having a job. I can just sign up for crap all day long and then not be held accountable. It's nice. So, looking at any of these things, take the interactive quiz. When I look at any given asset, it's going to give me an icon over here if it's audio, if it's a book, or if it's video. Using iBooks and iTunesU. So, overview, instructor, outline, posts, First, install iBooks, and he linked to the app. Next one, download a free book video. So it wants me to watch that. If I tap on it, it'll just stream it, and I can watch it right then. I'm on 3G, so I'm not going to do that. Put you through that. I haven't created any notes for this course, but I can look at all the materials that they made available, broken down by all, video, or apps. Now I'm done. Question?
This is two really quick ones. So the first one is, if I do this, if I make a course, it will automatically go into iTunes. Anybody can find it, they can find it, or I can find it, I can't find it.
It's hidden by default.
Okay.
So if you notice when you go to iTunes today, let me just touch catalog here so you can see the courses. So when I'm looking at the courses, I can tap here. If University of Wyoming decides that they want to be listed in this list, you would tap here, find University of Wyoming, tap that, and then it would say, here's all the courses available that you all created.
But if the university has to get permission to do that.
The university has to ask Apple to feature them in this list. And we do that intentionally, and I was telling you earlier, we do that intentionally because, well, perfect example, Front Range Community College down in Denver. They wanted to be on the list right away. And we looked, and they had one recorded lecture and a very ugly PDF file. Is this how you want to sell Front Range Community College? No. So they waited till they had about 1,000 assets total, and they had a really nice presence. Then they asked to be put on the public list, and we did it. So I mean, that's where I get involved. So I'm not a hurdle, right? I'm not a hurdle to that, but that request goes through me. I send it through the iTunesU team, and then then you're publicly listed. Until then, you lean on that share link and posting that somewhere internally or via email. Does that answer your question? Say if you have two quick, easy questions. Both of them were in there?
Referring back to something you said earlier about iTunes, did you say you can integrate that link into a learning management site, or did I mishear you?
Yes, you can. It's just a matter of copying and pasting.
Okay.
Whatever you use for LMS today, you can just say, there's going to be some text here, but really I need you to subscribe to the course here. And then that takes them out and over here. So we're not trying to compete with learning management systems. We are trying to simplify course creation that is purely digital, purely online. So we can't replace LMS with this offering today. You can see it's very feature thin. Yeah. And do you know where Cedar's School of Excellence
I
is?
should know.
By,
I've never heard.
by your accent, I thought surely you know. Greenock.
That.
It's in Greenock.
Okay.
So once the university upgrades to the public management courses, will work. And
Yeah.
everybody can subscribe like daily courses. So unlike right now, the university offer courses as students register here.
Correct.
So everything's fine.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
Yeah, the question is essentially what's public and what's private. There's only privacy via Obscurity. Your learning management system, the students have to register, they have to authenticate, then they get in, right? Not the case with this stuff. It's hidden until you put it on a public list. But yes, anyone could find it and then copy and post a link to it anywhere, and people can get to your content. Yeah. Is that a bad thing? It depends. There's been many, many fights at very large universities. I think the president, not the president, someone at UC Berkeley basically said, this is the ship we're on. We are going to record lectures and make them available. We think it's that important. So I'm sure there was some level of internal struggle around the intellectual property rights and whatnot, but I'm not here to get into that. I'm just here to show you what it looks like and how to do it. Question, Christy?
When you create an iBook, you can see it on iOS devices. Can you see it in iTunes? So if somebody had a Windows machine, they can see it in iTunes. Yes.
Okay, great question. An iBooks file, when you touch it on the device, automatically loads it and you see it. On the computer, it'll download the file and it says, I don't know what to do with this. So an iBooks file, no. An EPUB file, that can be opened with multiple apps on the Mac. The most popular one being Calibre. I'll show you that one. B-R-E. Probably spelled like they spell it in Greek. Properly. Love it. That's great. This is the site. So it's calibre-ebook.com. And then this is a free download, Mac, Windows, that allows you to take existing content and convert it to EPUB. That also allows you to just download and read EPUB. So it's a pretty powerful tool for working free.
And that's the PC as well?
Yep. Mac and PC. Sorry, they're all PCs. Mac and Windows.
Oh, sure.
Split in there. What other questions do you have? This is a long and exhaustive topic. I really appreciate you staying awake, at least 5% awake for a good part of it. But it's a lot of material to cover in a short period of time. Questions? You have questions?
How much does your email address cost?
Email address? Mine? Will be $8,000. I need a new bike. No, I'm at. Oh my goodness, I didn't even put it in there. Carson. That's good. Yeah, feel free to email me anytime. And at the department level, if you ever want the stuff repeated, if you ever need just a quick and dirty in terms of iTunesU course manager stuff, we have a lot of documentation. If I'm in the home office, it's never an issue to crank up WebEx really quick and do a show and tell or how to. But we have a lot of great documentation on apple.com/education and apple.com/support. So it's all in there. And plus, you saw where I was logged in. Where I was logged in, you've got your best buddy right here, always good. You go to help, and all this is here. Frequently asked questions, and then a full help section. Saying if you're having trouble, do this, do this, do this, do this, problem solve. I'll give you another opportunity in this session. Are there any other questions? Okay. I'll be tearing down for a little bit. If you have follow-up stuff that you don't want to ask in front of the group, I'm often one of those people, so I completely understand. Thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it.